I mean, we can now make sure that you don't actually see the face that, is old and has laugh lines, and you can clean all that up on your Zoom. And I do that. I just keep saying that it's not right.
Welcome to God Have Mercy.
Hi, Matt. How's it going?
Good. I'm gonna formally introduce you and read some of your bio. Not all of it, because you're a bishop, and it's long.
It's very long.
It's impressive. So let me just start by saying, you are an amazing, impressive person.
Thank you.
And I'll read just a little bit of your bio.
Sure.
So, Andy, you are the 9th bishop of the Episcopal Diocese of Texas. And I think the diocese stretches from like Houston to Austin to Canada or something like that?
Pretty much. It's just a little below Canada.
Okay.
There's a state in there called Oklahoma.
Okay. Yeah. And like hundreds of congregations and pastors. Your background, which always, like when I got to know you, you have a MFA.
Yeah.
Up at
Master
North Texas.
in Fine Arts. Yeah.
North Texas.
Yeah. No, BFA. Sorry, BFA. Master in Fine Arts. That was what we called the MDiv.
Is that right?
Same creativity, different letters. Yeah. Master of Fine Arts. Painting and drawing.
That's amazing. Which I think really, as I've gotten to know you, it shapes how you see the world and how you were formed to see the world in a different way, which I think is beautiful. You often say that your life can be summed up in 6 words: met Jesus on pilgrimage, still walking, which I want to get into in a second. And that pilgrimage has taken you from parish ministry to diocesan leadership, to local mission projects, to large-scale reconciliation work that I really want to talk to you about, and from pastoral care to public theology, which I think that you are probably, in terms of our city, I think you really are having a conversation, drawing a lot of other people, myself included, into that kind of conversation that's more than just out of a neighborhood. It really is about how we are formed as people, but then really, what does it mean to be a public theologian in a church that stands in the public square? Your books, now you can get on Amazon, and you've written, 1,400 books?
1,400 books, slightly less
today.
Just above Oklahoma. Yeah. I don't know how many now. Maybe 14, maybe 13. I don't know.
I mean, since I've known you've written 5 or 6.
Yeah. So. It's just a disciplined hobby. But I also feel like it's conversations about, like you said, we're having this conversation, but sometimes you want to go deeper into it. And so that's where my creativity comes out. Right?
Yeah. And that's what I've always loved, as well, as just the way that you think. And then you'll burrow deep into something for a while and then pop out and say, hey, let's talk about this. And your newest book, Unabashed Faith, which explores how to follow Christ with courage and imagination in the midst of an age of polarization and tension and isolation, which seems to be pretty needed in this space that we're in today as well. And so today I'd love to just talk to you about any or all of that, and if we can get around to talking to you about your badass Jeep, I'd like to talk about that.
Happy to go. Yes, exactly.
Well, one of the things that our mutual friend Eric Moan has invited me on a camping trips with you guys, and so occasionally we'll go out into the woods, and
it's so important. I think it's funny that there's been a return to outside in some ways. During COVID, it was one of the places people could go and be safe, and they had people at home and people were working and things like that. That just a different moment in our time, in our lifetime certainly, and in the generations that surround us. But I've always been an outdoors person, but part of it is just letting go of all the tech and walking away, and being able to say that that's actually healthy to do, that actually being one-on-one like we are in the room here today is, I mean, we could have done it on Zoom, but it'll be a different conversation because we're in person. So I think just being, and also how many people will tell me, they'll ask what I do for a hobby. I'll say, well, I've got a Jeep and I love to go camping, rock climbing, etc. And how many, and I say, I've got a group of guys I'd love to go hang out with. We try to do it about once a quarter, and it doesn't always happen, but that's our goal. And how many people long for something as simple as that? And just so grateful that, I mean, Eric's kind of the scoutmaster of the group, and that's really good. Yeah. But that's also what the book is about. I mean, Unabashed Faith, it is about recognizing that we are in a time where we have to kind of resist these anti-spiritual forces. And what I mean by that are those forces that kind of put us up in our head all the time and not in our bodies. And so it kind of goes with that a little bit. I mean, it's that sense of actually being outside. Humanists might call that forest bathing, right? I mean, seriously, like just there's stuff that happens. And that's old things. I mean, the monks used to go stand in the rivers and read Psalms and walk. I mean, being on Iona was a thing that was supposed to capture the imagination of the monastery and the monks that were there about their spirituality. And so how we embrace those things, I think, is really important.
It's huge.
You have a big scout hut here. I mean, that thing is massive. And I keep, I'm really encouraging people to take scouts back on. I mean, it used to be that's where scouts were in churches. And there's a lot of reasons why that hasn't been true, but Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts and all of those programs are so important to kind of a robust Christianity in some sense.
Yeah, I think that's right. It feels like in the digital age we have, I know like over COVID was like this too, and everything went super hyper digital. Yeah. Schools and learning and even friendships, and I don't know about your girls, but my boys, like a lot of their friends are only digital friends. Yeah. And I'm like, what? Right? They've never seen them.
Yeah. And I think there's some of that's good. Despite what Facebook promises, I'm not sure that we're meant to like hang out with our high school buds. Like I've got 2 high school friends. I have. It's terrible to say that now. Hopefully they're not listening. We go out and hang out. We'll have our Christmas lunch, and that's great. I mean, because we've been together for years now, but we've also not, like, we're actually part of each other's lives, and we see each other, and that's just a different thing than this other thing.
Yeah. No, that's right.
Because we're already once removed, right? I mean, like, that's the kind of the freedom. I think the freedom Christianity seeks to somehow allow what's inside to be what you experience on the outside, what my kind of aspirational ways of wanting to follow Jesus and all that. Like, how does that come out? How do you see that instead of this facade? But when we go to our devices, we are not only removing ourselves one time, it's multiple times, right? You remove yourself because you're now talking to a screen, or you're integrated with some kind of technology that then buffers everything, like in its own way. It has its own vocabulary, its own rhythm, and then you've got another buffer coming out the other end. Yeah. I mean, we can now make sure that you don't actually see the face that, is old and has laugh lines, and you can clean all that up on your Zoom. And I do that. I just keep saying that it's not right. You know. Sorry, we were getting a little serious there. I was losing my friend Matt there for a moment. But we think about that, but like, wait, what is that? And we're supposed to grow old.
Yes.
And the season of being old actually is an important season of life as everything else. And I don't know, there's something to that gets lost in all of this.
Yeah. I'm in a small group with a group of guys that are all about 75 and older, and we're having this discussion about what it means to be an elder.
Yes.
Right. What does it mean to then kind of step into that place of wisdom? Parker Palmer calls it on the brink of everything.
Yeah.
Right. And so, but we have a culture in the digital age that really kind of, I think it denies age and getting old, and it denies death, that this is going to end.
Oh yeah, well, and an avatar does that, right? Because I can be the avatar.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, so whatever that is, it denies it in lots of different ways that allow us. I mean, and you know, it's like watching your kids grow up and they come home from college, and the next thing you know, they're watching some show they haven't watched in like since they were 8, right? The regression,
Yes,
right? I think that's the technical term, but that sense of actually going back is fun and playful and helpful. It's a rest and it's rejuvenating, but we're not meant to stay in that life.
Yeah,
right. That there's another piece of it that seems to be really, really important.
So that, I mean, in your book, like, technology forms us.
It does.
It misinforms us. It can even malform us, I guess. There's a lot of forming that happens within. Right. So what is like in terms of folks that have been and are attempting to be formed in a different way in the gospel of Jesus and in the community of faith, like what should what could our like maybe approach or posture towards the digital age that we're living in be?
Well, I'm pretty pragmatic and practical. I mean, I don't think it's going away. So it's really about how we choose to live with it and what we choose to do with it. And my sense is that, as you know, and on the one hand, man, you can actually have a Bible study with 28 and 30-year-olds with kids at home.
Yes.
Because they don't have to come in. I mean, so like we don't want to throw everything away. That's not what I'm saying. But like, how do you learn now? Who's in control of your learning? Might be a curious question to ask yourself. Like, who's curating your truth? And where are you spending the time in your life that curates that truth? And what does that look like? I mean, right now it looks like Hercule Poirot at my house, because that's who we watch every night when I get home until I go to sleep. We're like on this mad dash to finish every Hercule Poirot with David Chevette in it, like, you know, just to get all the way to the end. But in the larger terms, right, like what television station, what group of friends, what happened to all those friends that didn't agree but you loved hanging out with? Yeah. What happened? You know, and so I think there's just there's a sense that we're being curated.
Yeah. So
that we'll buy, watch, and be attentive to other people's agendas. So I mean, I think there are people out there called influencers, but why did I choose you to be my influencer? And who do I choose to be my influencer? Yeah. I mean, and I think that was part of my work in the book Citizen, you know, back in the teens, 2016 time period. I mean, well, who's the master?
Yeah.
Who's the master of Border Town? Master Blaster is, right? And but that's, I think, a really important And that's an important question. Those of you like who've watched Friends will know that, they have there's a big debate, like, who's in charge of you? You are,
Yeah.
right? And that's where I think we are. I think that that's part of why the division is so hard, is that we're scared to even sit with people who might disagree with us, lest, we can't talk about the old thing was you don't talk about politics and religion with friends. Actually, maybe we ought to talk about Jesus with some friends, right? Like reconnect to the person, that face of God that we think is really important. And if that's the God and creator of all things from whom we come and where we're headed, I just kind of feel like that we might want to spend some more time on that.
Yeah. And I think the part of the digital age, at least the way I see it, is that you can say things and assume a type of posture on digitally on a platform that if I posted up on you like that, you'd go, bro, well, hey, you want to talk about something?
Right.
Like you
I would
check
call.
me.
Yeah,
Right?
you would check you. Yeah, you couldn't say, I'm finding that most of the things that people post, they would never say in public to my face in front of other people. Yet that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
But but I don't see that as, I think that's a piece of just like, well, oh man, okay, so you're there. And that makes me a little sad because I used to know you as an inquisitive, curious person who read a lot of different things and listened to different stuff. And so how is it that this one thing is like got you riled up? And I also think it means that it makes us not be able to hear other people. I mean, we've talked about this a lot, right? I mean, the work of listening to people is so important.
Yeah.
But I think as this has shifted, as new vocabularies have postured themselves in some way, we aren't very good at listening, and some of that I was talking with some friends about the situation in Nigeria. What happens when politics consumes and replaces the meaning of a word? So for instance, we could take the word mercy, which Bishop Mary Ann Buddy used, but that's not an angry word. But if we say it is enough times, it becomes an angry word. But what happens to our Christian faith when mercy becomes a word we can't say? I mean, it's all over the place in Christianity.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean that wasn't a difficult spot that two people were in front of us all. All I'm saying is we're not checking ourselves like that. We're not checking ourselves about the meanings of the words we're throwing around. And so we too often throw around words that we would never use on each other.
Yes. And I also wonder in those spaces, I mean, there's a prophetic utterance of words, right? There's a word that is spoken that is to cause a breaking open,
right?
Like I think about Nineveh.
Yes,
there's one word that prophet, uttered. I don't think he really wanted their hearts broken open, but it broke them open.
Yeah,
but then
also he didn't even want to go there because he knew God was going to forgive him. It's like the worst.
Yeah. And so here's a word he utters that then could have been taken if their hearts were closed up. It could have been that word then is then politicized and used against him rather than saying, wait a minute.
I'll review. I have had therapists for a very long time, several. And one time I was what's the thing with the tapping? They have that one thing where they tap, like it has little clickers and you hold them in your hand and it goes back and forth and it breaks up your thinking a little bit. I don't know what they're called. Anyway, there was another exercise that this therapist tried on me, and we were working on some really deep reflection, And so she gave me this bar to hold on to, and then she held on to the bar as hard, and I was to pull as hard as I could. And she was feisty. She held that bar like a sailor. I mean, that thing was not budging at all. So finally, I'm about to give in. And I know, like it's a split second, but in that split second, I know if I let go of this, it's dam bursting. I am gonna lose everything, and I double down and pull it towards me harder. Sometimes I think that's what happens to us when we're in a moment where, just as you described, things can break open.
Yes.
And there's a lot in our culture that actually just needs to break open. Right.
Yeah.
But what we're doing is we're doing what I was doing. I'll double down on that. And so that means to pull harder, bigger wall, taller wall, find some other people to stand back with the wall and push against the wall. I mean, like, I just feel like that's in some ways where we are, you know.
We're like that individually, and then culturally we reflect that, right?
Yeah.
And so then everybody's just standing behind their own wall, like super sad and lonely.
Yeah, super sad and lonely. Hey, what do you do with that group? You all just read the Bible, the 75-year-old people?
This group.
That old group you were talking about, all those old dudes. Is it called the old dudes?
They're the hipsters.
Oh, yeah.
Because they all have hip replacements. No, we're talking about, like, partly it's selfish for me to be able to be around some, like, dudes in the church that I just totally love and have watched for a long time.
Yeah.
And then, but there's not collectively, sometimes the older we get, the lonelier we get.
No, that's completely true.
And so trying just to figure out, one, like, how do we harvest collective wisdom?
Yeah.
And then what, like, is there, we haven't said the so what yet, but there's something maybe we do together about that, or, you know?
Well, I was just thinking too, you know, part of it is like if you read a book, you read the Bible, you eat, drink, sit together. If you minister together, I mean, that's one of the things I've found so important. Like if we can, like right now we're in this food crisis. So however we can fill our food pantries is really important right now.
Yes.
So, but that's an opportunity to do something where you mix ages, because lots of people can do that kind of work together.
Yes.
But it's also when we do that work and a Democrat and a Republican, or the person who's just trying to sort out their life this week, sit there and make sandwiches for people. I mean, like, weird stuff happens at those tables where all of a sudden you're having a discussion that you would not have had with this other person, because you probably would have buffered yourself out of it somehow. But serving other people does something strange to us in terms of letting down that guard a little bit.
Absolutely. Like in my own journey through the 12 steps, like, service is like, you can't get sober unless you serve. Like, you cannot have a change of imagination unless you serve.
You'd miss 3 steps at least, minimum.
Yes.
Right? I mean, like, there's 3 steps in there for everybody who works the 12 steps, right? Like, you got to.
You have to serve.
And the other thing is, and I think this is really one of the things I take away from that, was this idea that my presence isn't about me, right? Like,
that's right.
Showing up at a meeting actually is in the steps, right?
Right.
It's for the good of the whole. Like, your wisdom's actually needed in that place. And you don't know who's listening and watching, or how the story that you share, or your, how your thank you, what that'll mean.
Yeah, you know? Absolutely. Okay, yeah, because grace comes in 1,000 different ways to anybody who shows up.
Exactly.
So you've said that the role of the church isn't to win culture,
Oh, no, we'll lose that every time.
But to offer a different imagination.
Yes.
And I'm interested in that kind of imagination that you talk about. Because when I'm around you, I feel like you are. This is not meant to sound too Disney, but like you really are an Imagineer. Is that a word?
It is a word.
Okay, there it is. Like you think differently in a way that is like helps me and other people like me go, oh, okay, there's something there. And so can you talk about a bit about the church as a place that is to cultivate that kind of imagination?
Well, I mean, I think this is the prophetic imagination that Brueggemann spoke of, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great book, by the way. If you haven't read it, it's really accessible. May he be a blessing to everybody who remembers him.
Yeah.
What an amazing man.
Amazing.
But what I would suggest is that there's a piece of, the primary way in which we know God is as the creator of all things. And that this kind of creative DNA is in the midst of all things.
Okay.
Right? I mean, and it doesn't mean that things don't die, or that things aren't remade, or that every piece of art is perfect, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about the commoditization of art, but
that's another podcast.
A whole other podcast.
And another host.
Exactly. I'm not going there.
Not only another podcast, it's another host.
But there is a recreation. I mean, that's what we talk about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Gospels are, especially if you look at the ones that begin specifically with beginning. In the beginning was the Word, right? Like this is a play, right? Deeply in John about this recreative thing that is being done. And I think that's what that's about. And that's Rowan Williams talked about the freedom that comes out of that deep theology, Nicene theology. I mean, so it is the freedom to create. It's the freedom to not take everything in the world as the end, right? We just had the lesson from about Jesus and who gets how many of the 7 sons, which 7 sons will actually be married to this woman, this widow, right, in the end time. And Jesus' whole point is, it's not more of this. Like, the kingdom of God is not more of what we experience now. Right? There's no debt collector, right? There's no, right? That all of that is different.
Yes.
It is a world of true livingness.
Yes.
And then, of course, the kind of the punchline, as Jesus always kind of zigs and zags and then zaps, right? He says, like, I'm like in the middle of you all right now. The God of the living is present. Like, here we are, and we're going to do the same as we did yesterday.
Yeah.
And I think that's the recreative or the creative act of the church, which gives us this opportunity to come in throughout the week, but at least, like, if you're like hurting and you just can make it one Sunday, great, come in, because it'll help you take a step in a direction. Hopefully our church will give you some sense of recreation that allows you to make it for another 6 days.
Yes.
And try, right? That's what this discipleship is, and discipline is to try and live with that inner Christ on our outside more and more each day, right? I know it's silly, but everything I learned was in youth group, right? Like, there are 3 things I pray, right? See thee more clearly, love thee more dearly, follow thee more nearly day by day, right? Like, okay, I know that's
You
silly.
can tell the era you grew up in,
I
too,
know,
right?
completely.
Little 1970s.
Yeah, exactly. Right? But, okay, so you get the hymn, by the Galilean shore. I mean, like, we get to get some hymnody out of here. We've all been working on it. It's just that we're human. So we actually need to come back again and again to the water, the bread, the wine, the living word, those sacramental pieces, right, that create aha for us,
right.
create that sense. And maybe we don't get it every Sunday, but maybe it's not for us to get something every Sunday. Maybe it's for us to give something every Sunday.
That's
too.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
That imagination that you talk about is more than just information, it seems, right?
Completely.
Because, like, I think about the culture that we're in and 24-hour news cycles and all of the stuff that tells us we should be, who we should hate and how we should hate them and how we should go, all of these kind of, like, the moment we're in. And then this new imagination, I can almost hear Jesus whispered, you've heard it said, I say to you. Like, there's a different way, a more excellent way, a different way to be together.
Yes.
Right? And if our Christianity gets hijacked by culture,
which it will, and it does.
Okay.
Right, like Christianity has always gotten, as Islam has, like culture's going to win every day.
That totally sucks, bro.
Well, but that's because we're human.
Yeah.
But God wins. This is my point.
Okay, help me here.
Okay,
Because this is where I'm like, I get all like,
you got nervous.
I didn't get nervous. I get like all angry about.
Here, hold my hand, brother.
Do I have to pull something away?
No, this is it, right? That for me, I think the hard part is like recognizing that we are sinful, broken human people, and we're redeemed by Jesus Christ in the blood of the Lamb every day, all the time. Like you and I need to like bring our Lutheran brother and sister in here and sibling and have them like remind us of the cross so that we can remember the sin. Like we got to do that, right? And then I'll play the bread and wine high sacramental guy, right? Yeah. And then we need our Methodist with the high living word and like striving, like let's get things done.
Let's get stuff done.
Right. Because otherwise you're just messing around. You're just talking.
Right.
I'm like, we got to do some things.
Yeah. In fact, I want the Lutheran to talk while we're going to do stuff.
Yes. Could you just talk while we're doing it?
While we're on the way in the car.
Yeah. Exactly. This is what I'm talking about. But what we learned from that kind of threefold, and this is like Schleiermacher's feeling, knowing, and doing, right?
Yeah.
Like that's part of what was so brilliant about him is he knew you couldn't do one of those. You can't just know things, can't just feel things. You actually have
Schleiermacher
to
was not the lead bassist for Soundgarden. He was a German theologian.
Exactly.
People that are looking Schleiermacher up.
He's got a great book on Christmas Eve. I love Soundgarden, though. I was listening to some Soundgarden
and the bass player for Soundgarden.
Oh, man.
Schleiermacher is pretty good, too.
So, God, here's the thing. We forget that we can't do it perfectly. Like, N.T. Wright says, every stone, whether it's like as Jesus says, even the stones will shout. So, whether we are putting a pebble into the kingdom or giving voice to the kingdom, none of that is ever wasted. All of that is part of the kingdom, right? Okay. And that we know that the powers of this world, that death, despair, will not have the last word. And until then, we got to work a program.
Yes.
I mean, and that's the thing. We work the program not because we're ever going to be not who we are. We work the program to have some sanity in the world. And for 12-steppers, it's 12-step program. But on top of that, right, coming out of 12-step comes out of Christianity.
100%.
Right? And so you have this other world, this other piece, and it's that culture we're trying to live into, even though the world is completely fallen in some way.
Yeah.
So it's like all of those things. I think that's my hope speech, right? Is like, no, there is mercy. You actually can have mercy. We can do mercy.
Yes.
Right? Micah is correct. What is asked of us?
Yes.
Another 1970s song from camp.
Which was all the good songs.
All the good songs really were back then, right? But that's that's how Episcopalians learned their scripture. Is by camp songs. At least that's the testimony I'm offering today.
That's awesome. So, if the culture at sometimes takes over the church, what is the
like Constantine?
Yeah. Well, that didn't work out too well for the church.
Did not work out.
I mean,
well
Moltmann says that we had a choice between the cross of Constantine and the cross of Golgotha, right? The wooden cross on a trash dump, or the shiny cross around, the model's neck. And, 9 times out of 10, it's the model's neck. It's the shiny cross we're going for.
Of course.
And in our culture, that in some ways, when we see the cross of Golgotha in the immigrant, in the foreigner, in the widow, in the stranger, we've been taught a certain response in this time that I think stands antithetical to the gospel.
Yes.
So Francis Schaeffer, how shall we then live in these times?
Well, I think you have to live by doing good. Hebrews, right? Book of Hebrews, letter to the Hebrews, right? What does God love? The fruit that praises his name, hands that do good work and share what you have. I mean, that it does require of us something. And it does require of us treating everybody with dignity. But the right now what's happened, I think, is that we're in a place where we want to tell everybody what to think and do, and we don't want to do it. So we have a lot more marchers than people gathering up their food baskets and taking cans to the food pantry this week.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying that we don't need to march or that we don't. That's not what I'm saying. But that is a different thing than doing Christian work, which actually treats people with dignity regardless of who they are.
Yes.
But whenever we are tempted to treat one group or one person with no dignity, that just belies the truth of how we see the world.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right? So what we say about others belies our sense that no, not everybody really. So we actually multiply. I mean, this is the dark side of Christianity.
Come on.
Right? Which is we're really happy to tell others that they're evil and terrible and forget that Christians are supposed to act with grace and see dignity and the ability to be saved in every human being, and that God does the saving, not us. And that so when we
interesting.
So just you got to think about this. Right? It's not just it is the doing in some way. If we say some people are beyond salvation, then some people are beyond salvation. You see what I'm saying? Like that's the question. So it's the same argument. It's just different people. These people aren't that. These people aren't that. And so we're in these two bulwarks shouting at each other about who doesn't belong. But what's happening? We're echoing over and over again, some people don't belong.
And when I think about the need to belong, that may be and gets at something deeply primal within us that we will not belong.
Yes.
And so in the act of wanting to belong, we create systems and structures and theologies and political ideologies that say you don't belong, I do.
Yeah. Why don't we just say I belong and you belong?
And as one of...
And Jose belongs and Maria belongs and everybody else belongs. I mean, like, that's the problem, is that we don't want to do that. And it's
Wow.
mixed up for us in the West here because we mix up Christianity and nation so bad. And so
Yeah.
it's, the truth is that as an American, I like hang my flag out. I'm a
Sure.
big flag waving American.
You are.
Who loves to support all of as Anglicans, we've had this really weird relationship with people in the service. We love our veterans. We love people in the Army. We're just pacifists, right?
And you're chaplains.
And we're chaplains.
Yeah,
And we do all
yeah.
there's all this stuff, right? So it's mixed up in there. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that as a Christian, God has no nation. That's like the radical truth. I'll never be invited on this podcast again, I'm sure.
No,
But it sounds silly to say that, but it's true.
Yes. Right.
There's no special nation.
No. There's only people, right?
There's only people.
That's different.
People. And between the Old and the New Testament, us Christians are told who the people are. All the people.
Yeah.
And we share that with our Abrahamic and Islamic brothers and sisters,
Yeah.
despite what nations want to tell us about each other.
Yes.
We actually have and hold, and I would even suggest with our humanist siblings, I think we hold vast amounts of goodness that is bigger than our whole culture of the world together. I mean, it's just vast. This ideas of what we can aspire to in love and dignity and mercy and forgiveness and hope for our future and faith in our future.
Yeah.
All of those kinds of things.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you had, if you were to think about the church in 30 years from now, what would be a hope that you had for it that you would want to see?
So we just did this thing with McKinsey for our diocese. Is that where you got this?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, we did this thing with McKinsey and the Institute for the Future to Imagine. But I will tell you, I think that, look, in the South here in Texas specifically, we're going to have to figure out how to turn our churches into cooling shelters, not just heating and safe places from storms. We're going to have to look at how we cool people down. We're going to need to look at the continued gap between the haves and the have-nots. It's just the poverty. We can't expect different things to happen with families and children if we are not providing enough money for a person to work one job so they can be at home with their children. These are the kinds of things that we're going to have to really work on as a society. And I think Christians have a big voice in that. I think what I really, at this point in my journey, I would say that I would hope that the people in 3,000 would look at the people at 2050 and 2030 and say they were really faithful and trying to do the work that was required of them in that moment. And I think that's what I would hope for our generation, that they would boy, did they make some mistakes. I mean, I know I've been in the office long enough to know that I have, rather than just leaving it all for the next person. So, but I want people to say we were faithful.
Yeah. So, what are the steps? Because you and I kind of grew up in, at least I grew up in a Methodist church where discipleship was primarily, and this is a shortcut, about an evacuation plan for the faithful. It was to get me out of this world. And then what I was to do, discipleship was the information that made me a better person. That seems to be fundamentally a bankrupt at the end of the day. It got us this far. There needs to be a new imagination of what it means to be formed by the very person, character of Christ, rooted in biblical, all the stuff, right? But that if in 50 years the church primarily is a place I go for discipleship 101, 102, 103. And I'm living in a world that's heating up or cooling down, or the wage earn gap is so much that folks within my own neighborhood, there's two classes of people, folks that have enough food and folks that don't. And we, like, part of my issue with the church often is that we ask the question, where are hungry people? And we do good. Like right now, all the food that's coming in, we're hungry people. The work of justice, though, asks a different question. And this is the shift of this question is the one that I really struggle with. So we do really great with where are hungry people. But then the question of justice asks, why are they hungry?
Right.
And that's the question that if we move towards, then we will have cooling stations, but we won't deal with the systemic issues of, like, why do we need cooling stations?
Right. No, I agree. I think that at the end of the day, you have to be working. Every community has to, if it's going to be around. Mm-hmm. I just think this is what I'm seeing in the culture is people are willing to come to communities that really help their communities.
Yes.
And not just kind of a one stop, I'll come in and get my spiritual shot for the week kind of a thing.
Yeah,
but it's actually doing real work. But some of that also means beginning to do harder work. But if you can't even feed people, so here's the thing, right? You've got to take it step by step. So it's like in the book. In the book, I talk about like, okay, so how are we going to engage prayer, right? What are we going to do first? Well, where do you sit in your house to pray? Let's talk about that first. Right? Like that's the first thing. You can't get to how do I pray with other people if you don't even pray by yourself. Right? So I think what this means, the justice piece means really helping us begin with our own personal stewardship, time and energy, money, food, all of these things. Where does it go? Do we have enough for our grandchildren to be okay?
Yeah.
At what point is enough is one question. And how do we then use our stewardship to do good? And there are people who've made pledges about that are models that nobody's really looking at right now. Mm-hmm. But there are also people over time, we could look through history and see that some people gave away everything to public good.
Yeah.
So that's one piece. But the stewardship of time becomes the next piece. Mm-hmm. So where are we spending our time?
Yeah.
And how are we spending it helping those, like if we don't know what the needs are from them,
you probably
right? Because otherwise we spend our time getting what we're told their needs are and what we're told their needs aren't. And so the question is you actually have to leave your comfort zone to go and get to know people who are different and may have different needs and may actually tell you they have a different need than you think they need.
Yeah.
So listening becomes another big piece. And so you've got to go. I think it helps to go in groups, but certainly there are individuals who are saints of my devotion who just walked out one day and decided they weren't going to sit at home anymore and decided they're going to go do something. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Carter is a great example of somebody who had more than enough in his lifetime to say grace over, and yet decided that one of the things he could do was build houses and change the economic formula around house ownership. So he chose to do something that participated in changing the economic outlook. Now, the truth is that the current economic situation is really desperate for so many people. But if you own a business, how do we help you where's the consulting group that helps you to say, okay, I'm invested in this business, but I'm not just invested in the business. I know that actually helping everybody that works here have ownership of a home and a car free of debt and that their school kids have the needs that they're taken care of, and da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, now, you can't do that tomorrow, but I'm asking, does the church do that?
Yeah, do we have a responsibility in that?
Well, how can we tell somebody else in the world to go off when a lot of churches are using part-time people so they don't have to pay benefits?
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm saying, and it's going to take all of us working on that. But I really do believe if we want our house as a nation to be in order, then the houses we worship in need to be in order.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to have to follow but we haven't chosen to do that yet. Right? So this is the public theology, which is just and that's going to think about that talk. That's like, you can't stand up in the pulpit tomorrow and tell everybody that.
Right.
We have to convict hearts and souls that, okay, wait, let's like really take care of our people. And then it's like Moravians. That's what Moravians did during the Reformation. It was part, the influence they had on the Wesleys.
Yeah.
Right, but if we look at that very old idea of what community really is, if we were to come together and say, okay, everybody who works here, we're going to ensure healthcare, dental, the counseling, and then we're going to say kids, we actually became a household so that everybody here got, and so that you began to do that work. You actually might, if you listen and began with that, what do they actually need first? You might actually learn that there's stuff they need that's really low-hanging fruit. It's not hard to get. So I don't know. I mean, that's just me being creative and thinking about it. But if we're going to talk economic justice, then the church is going to have to do economic justice somehow.
That's right. That's good.
But it's hard. I mean, I thought if I helped take care of our clergy insurance, which we do, we would free up money in churches to take care of the insurance for the people who work there, and that's not what happened, right? And so it's a very hard. These are hard questions.
Yeah.
And I think the only solution is actually like you dared to ask a hard question. I dared to tell you what I actually think the truth is. Tomorrow we'll both be out of a job. Actually, what I would hope is like people might actually say, hey, that was a good idea. I wonder how that would work, and could sit down on their own without you and I in the room and begin to ask some questions like that. Right? Like that's what it takes.
Yes.
Somebody saying, wait, that was good. How do we do that thing?
Yes.
And I want to, maybe I'll invest my time on that thing. That's the way change happens. Is it's our investment to make something happen that's not happening. Yeah. It might be different. It comes out from real listening and just trying to be faithful. Yeah. That's all we want to do. I'm not trying to convict people to stay out of hell anymore. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying that if they believe in hell, they might have some things they could do really quickly to change behavior.
Sure. Like read Matthew 25 for starts.
Right. Like I believe
let's get
in
going.
hell. I believe in hell. I'm a good C.S. Lewis hell believer. Like, I'm just wrapped up in The Great Divorce there by C.S. Lewis.
Isn't it great?
Right? No,
it's
brilliant.
Book.
Because I have no idea what happens afterwards. I'm just telling you that right now, I'm pretty sure there's both, but I don't think you get there the way you think you get there.
No. My mother used to say that the two most frequently asked questions in heaven are going to be, hey, where's so-and-so, and how'd you get here?
It's the good place.
The good place. Yeah. So as we wrap up, if you, in the cacophony of our culture and church stuff and all the stuff that you do, what is a word you might want to whisper to the church to have it listen for? What would you want to say?
I think I would say to people that now is a time in the church that we lean in. Lean in everywhere we can lean in and not back off.
Yes.
To lean in, to dare to love the unlovable. Lean in. It's worth. You will not be able to solve the world as an individual, but each one of us, if we lean into each other, I really believe this. If we lean in, things happen. And I'll tell you a story about that. I'll give a shout out and I'll share a story. So I talked about this. I talked about figuring out what your ministry was, and this amazing woman who runs the organization Half Shears Will Travel was in the audience. So I was talking to about 700 people, about leaning in, finding your ministry, starting something new. She was out of work. She had been in an oil practice, I don't remember for how long, maybe 20 years. And she said, you know what? I have my beautician's license. So she popped her stuff in the back of her car and started cutting homeless people's hair. Oh, wow. Now she runs a center that trains people on how to get their licenses, men and women, all the techniques. It has a center. It's down in the midst of people who need work, and she's training people and engaging in work programs in schools. It's called Half Shears Will Travel. That space happened after she got a Winnebago and put all her stuff in and put a couple of barber chairs in it and started going around cutting people's hair. Dude. She is a most amazing person. But all she did was like choose. All she did was choose to do something new.
Yeah.
For somebody else.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. Just to say that there, and in the church there are thousands and thousands of saints like that who do that every day. Yes. We provide as churches. We do not do this, but I know the Episcopal Diocese of Texas, for instance, is less than a quarter of the population in its diocese, and makes an impact on 20% of the people who live in our diocese. Now, I can imagine that for Methodist, Lutheran, like we start adding that up, people are changed and transformed by the people like her and like others in our churches who will do stuff. So I want to end on that good note. Yes. But if you're struggling with fear, depression, anxiety, do lean in. Lean into it and lean into the people. Lean in and do something for somebody else. It's part of the 12 steps. Yep. Yeah. Because what we learned when we work the steps is actually by doing something, there's a piece of our soul that's mended.
Yeah, that's right.
I just think it's a thing. Certainly watching more TV, staying on our phones is not helping the anxiety. Doom scrolling is not helping the anxiety, fear in this country. None of that is working.
Yeah.
And when they started popping up ads for us, that like things we wanted to buy, we should have put them all down and said like, that is an evil device. We should put it down now.
Or just laugh.
Oh wait,
like,
really?
My
phone's buzzing right now. But right, I just want to make sure everybody knows I have a phone.
My okay. Amazon package showed up.
It did. I like you, Matt. I'm like pushing some likes right now. But just to say that I think that there are certain things that we should like maybe get some distance from and lean towards other things.
Beautiful.
People.
Beautiful.
Mostly people.
Mostly people. I think that's the thing that I find to be the most hopeful, is that in the connection with other people, I just believe what Jesus said. Jesus shows up in those relationships, not the idea, not the information, the encounter. And I think people are hungry for an encounter.
Yeah.
And
they want people who are trying to live that way.
Yes. Yeah.
To show them how to, what did we find? What is this? I want to know what Jimmy Carter found.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, that's what I think people want. They want to know, like, what did you're so happy. What happened?
Yeah.
Like, how did you find that?
That's right. Thanks for Thanks for being here.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Would you come back and because I feel like that. First of all, John Stevens would want to talk to you.
It was his
about,
idea.
I know about a whole other host of things that are important too. So,
no. I'm always happy to come back.
I mean, he asked me to ask you a couple questions I did not even get to.
What?
Well, I know he's probably gonna.
Okay.
I may need a job at the Episcopalian with the Episcopalian.
Oh no, you can't. I've told you, I'm not hiring you. I'm not going to hire you and John or any of you Methodist people. I like you.
Fired, but
I like you. No, well, it's just we're just playing.
Yeah,
we're trying to hold the gospel lightly.
That's good. I have appreciated you for a long time for who you are, the way you move in the world, the way you lead, and the way that you continue to press us to see things that I can't see. And you're just so much fun to hang out with.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me. We'll look forward to another time when John can join us.
Yeah. Well, would you say your name?
Would I say my name?
It's the way we end the podcast, and we may need to edit this at some point, but I'm always
Andy Doyle.
And I'm Matt Russell, and this is Pod Have Mercy. Thanks, Steve.